I feel like most videos with a title like this make you wait ages for a deeply underwhelming answer, so I'll get it out of the way right now. I probably won't quit, but it ain't half tempting sometimes, is it? Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to my nervous Bakedown. Today we're going to be talking about how I feel about my space on the internet while baking cookies. I needed a sweet treat and I've got a bag of mini eggs left over from Easter, so I thought I would try swapping them for the chocolate chips I put in my cookies and see what happens. It's a nice and simple bake, but it's one that I very much need. So this year is the 13th year of my YouTube channel. My channel is now old enough to have a channel. Isn't that quirky? And I read a lot these days about how kids' ideal job, like their dream job, is a YouTuber or a streamer, and that is wild to me because I never dreamt of this. I couldn't. It wasn't a thing. I feel like over the past 13 plus years I've watched an entire industry grow around me, and sometimes it makes me feel like a massive fraud because I reckon if I started YouTube now I would never have a successful channel. I don't think I'd know what to do. Sometimes I look around and I don't recognise the place. It feels like this entire extravaganza, my life, has been one happy accident. I've had a wonderful time, but now that I've got one foot into what my actual dream career was, I'm starting to wonder what happens to this part of my life. Whether it's something I still want, or do I want to close the door on a nice happy time and then run away? And whether escaping from it is even possible in the world that we live in now, which is a very internet-driven one, and that leads me very nicely to the sponsor of this week's video, Incogni. Lately, I'm hyper aware of my online footprint and the data that's out there in the world and the ways that people might use it for nefarious purposes. I feel like I can't go more than 2 minutes without being asked to hand over an email address or do a simple search for an idea for a project that I will inevitably fail to begin, let alone complete, without then being chased by ads about it. Right now, I'm overrun by ads about ginger and turmeric drinks, and look, I know it's very good for me, but you need to chill out. Leave me be! This whole extravaganza happens because there are data brokers out there mining and aggregating your private information. So your name, location, online activity, et al. And selling them onto businesses who then want to use it for all kinds of nonsense. The good news is that you have the right to request that data be deleted. The bad news is it would take for ages. The good news is Incogni can sort it out for you. All you have to do is create an account, grant Incogni the right to get to work for you, and they'll swoop in like a hero and get to reclaiming your info faster than I can say, I'll make my own ginger shots, thank you. You can start taking back your personal info right now by using the code DanielJ at the link in the description below for 60% off an annual subscription. Thank you once again to Incogni for sponsoring this video, and let's get cracking. Eggs. 1 egg. And a bag of mini eggs. Oh, you can tell I'm a bad YouTuber. I forgot to put the lights on. There we go. Dewella would be fuming. I never started this channel to become a YouTuber because you couldn't be one. I started putting videos on the internet, well, kind of because it was the done thing among my friendship group. Obviously, I went to the University of Lincoln with Tom and Bing and Jack and Dean and Mike and Jacob and Chloe, and we were all filmmakers and storytellers, and we wanted to make things and put them somewhere, and YouTube was a place to put them. Like, we didn't need permission from a TV channel to tell the stories or make the sketches or do whatever we wanted. We could just put them there. So for me, I saw my channel as this evolving portfolio. I could upload a sketch, I could upload a song even, and I could showcase the various parts of what I had to offer as talent in the hope of maybe attracting the eye of a casting director, of an agent, all the rest of it. And honestly, maybe I shouldn't say this part, sod it. I learned more about editing as a storytelling mechanism, how to communicate an idea through editing, with my YouTube channel than I did from my degree. I learned a great deal on my degree, but the practical application of it was right there for the taking. And then an industry happened around me. I don't know how. I think part of the charm was that it was this underground, real, honest thing that people did for fun and a community built around it. Younger audiences were drawn to the new technology and drawn to the authenticity of people, I think. Without going too deep into sociology or anything like that, I find it interesting when I have conversations with new friends who watched YouTube growing up and they ask me about my YouTube friends. And it's tricky because they're not my YouTube friends, they're my friends. They were my real friends. What happened on the internet was my life. We were sort of friends because we were YouTubers. That was the thing we had in common, but it was no different for me than like making friends with someone because we both went to the same dance class or making friends with someone because we were at the same office. These people then became my real life friends. We lived together, we laughed together, we loved together, we fell apart together, all the rest of it. And then slowly but surely, as businesses including the big one itself, this one, started to realise how they could use this connection with audiences as a tool to its advantage, other eyes and other interests started taking over, and that's how a massive industry was built. And I find it really interesting to watch the way the industry has changed around me and the way the audiences have changed too. Sometimes the way I like to explain it is I think when we made videos, we were the nerds at school, and now the people who have the biggest channels were the cool kids, the jocks, the cheerleaders, that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's just my perception of it, and that's not the reality of how it goes. There's nothing wrong with things changing. There's nothing wrong with audiences getting new tastes and things going in a different direction. It's just that's what I mean when I say that I don't know I would be successful if I made a channel now, because I think what I am is a throwback to an old type of creator that may or may not exist and may or may not be in demand. It's in demand for me, it's the kind of creator I like to watch. But it's that weird cycle of I still like to upload and make videos, but I wonder if I would get the urge to make videos if I hadn't already been making videos. Do you know what I mean? Why do I keep making videos? Because I like it. I like exercising the communication, storytelling, comedy, editing part of my brain. When it comes to my vlogs, I like having those home movies to go back and look at. And because I quite like you, don't tell anybody. It's a thing I've talked about before. Sometimes I had started to wonder whether chasing my plan B was what I was doing with a YouTube channel. And now I don't feel that way. I love the fact that I'm at school and it has sort of made this the hobby part again, if that makes sense. A hobby that I'm lucky enough to get paid for, thanks again for the sponsor, but I've always felt a certain amount of pressure, and it's that pressure that makes me think about throwing the towel in a little bit, because when I have my focus on this end goal of what I want my career to be, and I'm worried about every single video has the potential to destroy my entire channel. If it stops performing, what am I? That's a part of my brain that I'm trying to leave in the past, but it's still really present. So it's something I'm working on. And I'm actually dead proud that even though I've been full on in this degree, I've still been able to upload videos alongside it. Not regularly and not as many as I did when I was uploading one video a week, but I genuinely feel like I've been giving my everything to this degree and still being able to make videos. I'm proud of that. I was very careful there not to say I'm giving 100% to my degree, because this is something I've learned. You can't give 100%. It's just not feasible. Some days, you only have like 40% to give. But as long as you're giving that 40%, then that's okay. The problem comes when you have a capacity to give 90% and you only give 40%. That's an issue. But one of my goals when I started this degree was to make sure I didn't feel like I was phoning it in. And even though the end of the course is starting to stare me in the face and give me an existential crisis, I think I can hand on heart honestly say, I've really given it some, and I'm proud of that. The existential crisis comes, I think, from imagining me returning to my life before going to Mount View, where I felt like I was uploading videos desperately trying to figure out what people wanted from a YouTuber, like how I could be other people's idea of what a creator should be, rather than the type of creator I wanted to be, which I think is why I grew a channel. It can't all be because I was mates with Dodie, but in the before times I was genuinely struggling a lot with a sense of self, with a sense of how I perceived my identity and how much of that was based on how other people perceived who I was, if that makes sense. I have to recognise that even if I do step a little bit back into my old life again, whether I go back into wrestling if they'll have me, or I start covering film festivals again, or whether I just make videos or whatever, I'm not actually going backwards. I think of it as being afraid that I'll end up back where I was. And I can't, because I was talking to one of my friends from the course, and they were reminding me that I can't possibly go back and be the person who I was before, because I have done this year. Even if I do step back into parts of my old life, I have a whole new perspective, I have a whole new year of experiences, and a whole new understanding of myself and my capability. I'm really grateful that they reminded me of that. Even if it really pisses me off that people who are 22 have such depth to them. God, I hate they're young, they're so insightful.